Hello, Northeast Region. This is Earl Kelly, Region Manager, coming at you from the Region Headquarters. First off, I wanted to say welcome to Week 2 of the SC2 Push. And Week 1 was fantastic. I'm sure you saw much of the recognition from Week 1. I wanted to talk to you about making the second week bigger than the first. You'll probably hear that theme from your manager. That's one of the things that most people shoot to do. When you think about why does the second week tend to be bigger than the first when a representative is engaged in the right activities? Well, the first thing I wrote down is that they had built momentum from constant activity. They developed a lot of good habits, and that was one of my big reasons for getting engaged in the push, is you develop more professional habits that will help you as you move into August. So a lot of times someone's second week gets bigger because of all the momentum and the constant habits and the constant activity they take from the first week. The second thing is their skills are getting better. Many times we see people's closing ratio going up. We see their phone time being more successful. We see their average order going up. And this is all because of they're doing so many demos, they're doing so many phone calls that their skill set is improving and they are able to capitalize on that. And then also is the willingness to try new things. I know a lot of people are going to a lot of different workshops. Instead of just a weekly team meeting, they're going to an extra workshop. They're going to alliance meetings and they're learning new ideas. And these ideas are what people have done in the past to really increase their sales. So their willingness to try these ideas makes a difference. But I will tell you what, if someone's second week is going to be bigger than their first, it doesn't happen just by accident. It happens because someone starts with that intention. And it starts with your expectations. Do you expect your second week to be bigger than your first? I had the privilege, I've been traveling around going to different alliance meetings, and it's been a blast. And I had a privilege to be at the Nassau County Alliance meeting on Tuesday morning, and I heard a story. Our top rep last week, RJ Agrawal, was shooting. He had, I think, a $17,000 a week last week, and this week he was shooting to be over $20,000 in sales. He was automatically planning on having a second week bigger than the first week. So you can tell where his expectations were and what he was thinking. So it starts with your expectations. I think you have to say to yourself, even if you had a really good week, that my second week can be bigger than my first week. I heard a story about a representative of ours, Kelly, from the Eastern Queens team. Kelly's over $25,000 in sales. She's been selling all summer, and Kelly just had her biggest day of her career yesterday. Again, that's kind of expectations. The second thing I wrote down is that you've got to be willing to fight. All right, for what you want. If you want your second week to be bigger than your first, you got to be willing to fight for that. Great story that I heard that I loved. Justin Mazza is a representative from the Nassau County office, and Justin's been selling for a while. Justin was in the Dominican Republic during the first week of the push. He sold to his aunt while he was in the Dominican Republic, and then he used Google Voice to make phone calls while he was in the Dominican and set up 4 appointments while he was on vacation. And yesterday, Tuesday, was his first day back and had a $1,900 day. Now that's what I talk, that's commitment. That's where I talk about excitement, and it's so, be willing to fight for what you want. At that same meeting, I got a chance to sit down with assistant manager Abby Martone, who actually got the flu and had a 102-degree fever the whole first week of the push. And Abby had $100, she was at $100 total for her push week after week 1. Now we knew her second week was going to be bigger, right? But what was great is she fought for what she wanted. And yesterday, the first day of week 2, she had her first signature set sale of the push, and I know that's going to continue to many $1,000 days this week. So you got to be willing to fight for what you want and realize that the past doesn't predict the future. I was listening to Mike Cassetta. The Nassau office, by the way, was the #1 office in the region last week and top in the nation. And I was listening to some of the tips he was giving to his team about making the second week bigger. One of the things that he mentioned was repeat the positive things you did during week 1. So if there was positive things that you nailed, whether it was good habits of making phone calls and getting in the office and trying different things, let's repeat those habits. All right. Number 2 is fix the mistakes. You made the comment of what are some things that you could have done that you didn't do. There was a representative, Anthony DeLisi, he's one of our top reps for the summer, and I heard he double booked an appointment yesterday, and he had a customer who was set up and he found out they were iffy, so he double booked somebody for the next time, said, hey, if I get this open at 10 o'clock, would you be available? And ended up selling a signature set at that appointment. And I know that came down to him, not just doing the normal things. That's something he could have done the first week, and his cancellations hurt him. So talk to your manager about how do you double book somebody? How do you set up a tentative appointment in case your first one cancels? I listened to Mike talk about raising standards. He had the entire alliance shooting for 2 appointments every morning when they got on the phone, and yesterday went for 3. He talked about asking for help, making sure that if you think you need help with something, that you ask, that you don't assume that you should just automatically be great because you're working hard on the push, that you ask for help. And my last tip, and this isn't from Mike, this is from me, that if you want to have a bigger second week than the first week, have fun during your push week. Enjoy the process. I do want you to challenge yourself. I do want you to work hard. I want you to move out of your comfort zone and try different things. But you have to enjoy the process of challenging yourself. Let go of fear of failure and just go after it with everything that you have. Let's have a great second week of the push. Looking forward to seeing you all in a week at SC2. And by the way, stay tuned. Your manager is going to announce we have a special conference call this Saturday morning for all of our representatives, from Hal Elrod, who's our guest speaker, all right, at the SC2 conference, on an 8 a.m. conference call Saturday morning. They will have the number and the time, and he'll give you tips on how to finish your push strong leading up to SC2. By the way, Hal is in California, which means he's getting up before 5 o'clock in the morning to have this call with us, so he's committed to us having a great SC2 push. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.